One early morning, Gordon woke with a start. He felt strange, but could not explain why. His driver, who came to clean him before work began, resumed him. "It's ditch water," he said. He said to Gordon. It can get into your mechanical workings and make you feel sick." Gordon was satisfied with that explanation, but what was odd was that he couldn't remember falling into a ditch, even though it had recently happened. The memory was fuzzy at best. Later that morning, Gordon was sleeping and brought his train to the junction. Thomas, who looked equally tired, greeted him with a smile. "Long night?" Thomas asked. "Yes, I had some very strange dreams," Gordon replied. "Me too. It was like we were back at the mine again. But when I awoke, I couldn't actually remember being there at all." Gordon's eyes widened. "I had the same dreams. Come to think of it, I can't remember falling into a ditch, much less rescuing you from a mine." "What does that mean?" Thomas asked. "I don't know. We only just came back. I remember bringing you to the yard just before the Queen came to the island." "I remember that too, but why can't we remember actually being at the mine?" The two engines decided to find out for themselves. That night, the two of them puffed up to the line which led to the big station. They were surrounded by a bend that led to the mines, but were met with temporary signs which read, "Danger, collapsed mine ahead." "We have to investigate from here," said their crews as they walked past and the signs towards the collapsed mine shaft. They came back short for a while. "What are you doing back so soon?" Thomas asked. "Nothing to see. Let's head back." Thomas and Gordon didn't believe them. "You didn't even take a light with you. How could you have seen anything?" Their crews listed, but Thomas resisted and he sped through the controlling signs and stopped at the edge of the large gaping abyss. When he looked down inside, he shrieked. "Gordon!" Thomas called, tears welling from his eyes. In a bit were two muggled engines. One looked exactly like Gordon and the other like Thomas. Who are these engines?" Gordon asked. A terrible feeling began streaming deep in his boiler. "I can explain," said a familiar voice. The Fat Controller stood next to his car in a light in his hand. "I had hoped that this day would never come, but allies, here we are. These were you," he continued solemnly. "What do you mean?" asked Thomas, distressed in his voice. "When you fell into the mine, Thomas, you didn't just fall. The mine collapsed beneath you, swallowing you whole. We tried bringing Gordon, our strongest engine, to lift you out with a pulley system, but misjudged how hollow the shaft was below. He fell into the ground, beneath the ground." "But how can we be here if we're down there?" Gordon asked. "It's a gruesome tale," said the Fat Controller. "We had a major scandal due to the lack of judgment, and to save face, we saved your faces. There was a talented engineer from crew and moved your identities into new shells. The engines you see below your former shelves were prototypes." Thomas and Gordon didn't know what to say. In their confession, they began to cry. "That doesn't change who you are," the Fat Controller said. "You're still two of my most useful engines. We gave you a second chance and avoided scandal. We understand, Thomas said, in devised tone. Soon after, the two engines sulked home buffer to buffer. Everything felt familiar and foreign at the same time. They didn't feel the whole anymore, knowing that the part of them was rotting away in the bellows of the mines. The only hope that one day, many years from now, that the memories would become fuzzy too.